What's happening, party people? This is take two because obviously the video I recorded last night, I don't know what happened, but it got interrupted. So I am re-recording, and this is post injury. Yes, there's a big band-aid on my head, and that's a long story, but I don't want to get into it. It's just, when somebody puts something where it's not supposed to be, and then it hits you in the head, it's not fun. But that being said, let me get into the fourth quarter of 2025. That's the topic, which is really understanding that a lot can happen in the fourth quarter. Some of you started out the year with a specific target, with some goals that were hot and top of mind, and you were excited and fired up for them. Some of you were wanting to just have a level of consistency with some things that you started at the end of 2024. And you may be further along than you expected. You may not be anywhere close to where you wanted to be, or you might be right on target. Wherever you're at, I do want you to really appreciate the fact that we have just shy of 4 weeks remaining in the month of October, because it started in the middle of the week last week. So we actually got some bonus days. Secondly, you all probably have seen this in a sporting event where one team is down and the other team is leaps and bounds ahead, and they're going into the fourth quarter, and people are already leaving because they want to miss the traffic on the way home. And all of a sudden, some synergy takes place, an imposing of the will, a desire, a burning desire that overrides and overwhelms all reason and what viewers are seeing, which looks like the game being over, to something that is nothing short of a miracle. When someone says, what a comeback, can you believe that they came back from that and pulled that out? And people that left early, they're always like, what? Wait a minute, what happened? Oh my gosh, I can't believe I left. Because they were basing their decision on their eyesight instead of really looking into their mindsight. When you live your life based only on what you see, there are supreme limitations to what you can create. But when you live your life based on your mindset, what you're able to create and produce from that is magical. And that has a lot to do with what can take place over these next just shy than 3 months as we wrap up the fourth quarter of 2025. So whatever you have in your target sites, wherever you're at, there's a lot that can change. And it's going to be based on your ability to focus. It's going to be based on your ability to reset. And it's going to be based on your ability to give yourself permission to reinvent, reset and reinvent, so that you're literally coming out of the blocks, coming on this fourth quarter turn, a completely different animal than what got you to this point. Because maybe whatever got you to this point isn't anywhere near what you need and what is required to get you to the finish line. Maybe you've been cutting corners. Maybe you've gotten comfortable. Comfort is what is the most destructive to your progress and your growth, because we are creatures of habit. So there are people that have accustomed in their lives a way of life that is limited. For example, I was reading a message and I was looking at the message, and this particular person was kind of whining and moaning and groaning, and they were, talking about their aches and pains, and they don't have enough time in the day. They got to work overtime and this, that, and the other. And my response was very simple. You chose this. This is the life that you created, because at some point you decided that you were no longer going to grow. You decided that you weren't going to take on any new learn a new skill, a new trade, learning in a way that you could create more value in the marketplace and therefore make more income, so that as you are moving through your life, you have more options and you're not tied to trading hours for dollars forever. That's a choice that you made, not to learn, not to grow. And so we all have the opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to reinvent and recreate ourselves. We're not a tree. We don't have to stay stuck. And that's the opportunity that I want to invite you to really engage in. sit down for a moment or longer. Sit down for a couple of hours and really think about what it is that you want to create. Who do you want to be? Because when you habituate patterns, which we're all victim to, over 80% of our behavior is habitual. Well, the message I was reading from that particular individual, they had grown accustomed to earning a limited amount of money in exchange for a massive amount of hours. And they've been doing that for years and years and years and years. And so now it's catching up because that's a lot of wear and tear on the body. If you work in construction, well, you can only do that for so long before your body starts to break down. But if you're working in construction and while you're doing that, you learn how to become an electrician. You learn how to become a plumber. You learn some different skills. It's an iteration from what you're already doing. But there's not as much wear and tear on the body in plumbing or an electrician versus construction. And obviously there's unions for all of them, but the demand for plumbers is much greater in some circles, depending on where you are in the country. My point is that if you take the initiative, you can actually position yourself to make more money and spend less time because you have a growth mindset. Comfort is like carbon monoxide. It is a silent killer. It will choke the life out of your dreams, goals, and ambitions. And it's insidious. It is slow and it is devastating because you don't even know. You look up and 10 years have gone by and you've made maybe 5 to 10% more than what you were making at the beginning of those 10 years, when in fact, had you been more efficient and more intentional with your study and what you're learning in your craft, you could have made 10 times what you made from year 1 to year 10. I dare you to be bold in your dreams and your aspirations. I dare you to sit down and cast a vision for your life that is far greater than your current circumstance. Another thing that people fall victim to is that they believe that their current circumstance is also their conclusion. They believe that this is the way of my life. I have resigned myself that I'm never going to make more than $70,000 or $80,000 a year. I'm always going to have to work between 40 and 55 hours a week. And the best I can do is save my money and maybe have a little bit of a pension. And that's going to be that. And I will build my life around the paycheck. I become a paycheck player. Instead of living up to a greater vision, they resign themselves to their current circumstance. And I submit to you that your vision, if you're going to cultivate it, it must be bigger and far more compelling than your current circumstance. That's the power of vision. That's the power of mindsight. That is the power of faith, the evidence of things hoped for, the substance of things not seen. And so if you're willing to reinvent yourself, if you're willing to embrace the uncomfortable growth zone, and then you're willing to go into that transformational space with the vision, and you got to smell it, you got to taste it, you got to hear it, you got to see it, you got to feel it, touch it. It's experiential. Example, if I have a dream of building a dream home for my family so that all of our family and extended family has a place that they can live comfortably and we can help and support each other. Well, that means that I'm going to create a significant amount of income that can fund all of those things. If I want to make sure that all of our children and unborn grandchildren are taken care of with their educations, they're completely paid for, their living expenses are paid for, their transportation is paid for, it's already put in a trust fund. That means I'm going to have to make an exceptional amount of income. And so in order for me to be of that mind, I want to be in the proximity of like-minded, successful people, because proximity is power. So I may take some time and just go down to the Ritz-Carlton and sit down in the lobby and write in my journal. I might go to a really nice restaurant and order some soup because maybe I don't want to spend $400 on a meal, but I'll order some soup. I just want to have the environment. See, when you go into a Ritz-Carlton, it smells different than a Red Roof Inn or a Holiday Inn. It smells different. It's a different vibe. You go into a 4 or 5 star restaurant, it's very different. 2 or 3 star Michelin chef, very different than Olive Garden. It's just a different level of experience. It reminds you of what's available if you're willing to embrace transformation. Be ye not conformed to the ways of this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. The ways of this world, that means you're not going to be affected and infected by social media and the internet and memes and all the noise and the distractions and all the emotional hot buttons that the algorithm is designed to keep you distracted and off of your purpose and your focus. It means that you're not going to conform to the status quo. You're not going to fall in line with the mediocre masses. You're going to make a decision to rise to a higher level of vibration. And you're willing to reinvent yourself. Be ye not conformed to the ways of this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. A lot can happen in this fourth quarter, ladies and gentlemen. Just shy of 12 weeks we have to make an impact, to make a difference. And that can serve as a springboard into 2026. You come into a totally different person because of the work that you put in and day out, day after day, night after night, week after week, month after month. So that when you get to the end of the year, you can feel proud of the effort that you put forth. You can feel proud that you stuck to your vision. You can feel proud that you didn't fall prey to someone else's vision, someone else's agenda, someone else's algorithm. But you stayed tuned into your own algorithm of success, an algorithm where the vision is clear and you write it down and you make it plain so that those who see it can run to it and do not tarry, do not look left or right, but you stay focused on that outcome until you run not to the tape, but run through the tape. And then as soon as you finish that goal, you have a next one that you go right to immediately. Don't have any lag time. Don't sit around and say, well, I hit this goal. What am I going to do now? Don't do that. You're going to lose all your momentum. Make sure you have another goal ready for the second one that as soon as you hit the first. But that's the opportunity that we have in this fourth quarter. Don't let comfort kill your dreams. Remember that your opportunity to reinvent your life is in your hands. It's a great responsibility of creativity that we all possess, but very few people actually use it. And if you're willing to walk by faith and not by sight, don't think about the eyesight. See, when people think that you focus on the eyesight, you're going to miss the end of that fourth quarter comeback because you thought you saw what it was going to be, but you didn't understand there was something greater taking place on the field. There was something spiritual that was taking place on the field. There was something internal in those players' hearts and minds and spirits that was greater than the scoreboard, greater than the circumstance, because they understood that their current circumstance was not their conclusion. And for you, you have to remember, my current circumstance is not my conclusion. Where I'm going is non-negotiable because where I am is intolerable. Keep doing the work. Keep paying the price. And if you got some about this message, please like and subscribe and share this message. Pass it on, bless somebody, and let them know, yeah, Ed's got a Band-Aid on his head because he got hit in the head and it's not fun, but we got to keep it moving. All right, much love, you all. See you soon.